Hey, everybody, this is Kara.
This is Deja.
And this is Ed.
And this is your day's dumpster fire.
See if I got it now.
We love it.
That was very royal.
I love that song.
We love it.
Mozart is the man.
It's
If anybody wants to know, Mozart's my favorite classical musical artist.
Yeah.
It's my only classical music. Yep.
It's like the one of the few people that like everybody remembers. They remember Mozart and Beethoven.
Facts.
And then maybe Bach.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Bach.
Oh, I don't like that.
Ah, Bach.
Ew. Kind of like a cat throwing up.
Hey, the nice thing is I didn't.
Vinegar.
The nice thing is I didn't blow everybody's eardrums off this time.
Yeah, that's true.
That was in case if you're wondering, this is our second time recording our intro because the first time I had everything
Really loud.
Yeah.
And like I'm doing great with that. My head is fine. It's
That's right.
Great.
Yeah, because you've got the plague.
Yep.
And here we are sitting in a petri dish. So
With the door closed.
Door closed, windows open, so it's a little warm.
yeah,
The bacteria is just thriving.
it's like the opening to The Last of Us. Just
Oh, God.
Ew.
yeah, well, and this is a momentous moment for us. We all three of us are actually in the same room recording. Kara's forgot her medications and she's just randomly swiping at things. Normally we see each other on camera as we swipe at things, but now it's just in person.
There's dog hair on my hat.
We can confirm there's nothing in the air.
Yeah, I know.
No, there's dog hair in my hat, and I was getting it off.
She like looks cross-eyed while she's blowing at the brim of her hat.
As long as she's not like talking to like some random person off the side of the room, like
Considering
shut up.
we're on the second floor, I'd be really concerned if I were talking to some random person.
How did you get all the way up here? Dude?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like this is momentous. Deja months and months and months ago proposed the idea of like, hey, let's all set things up so that we can record in the same room. Because before we were using online apps that were like, think of like Zoom but on steroids, and it worked good.
Well,
Worked well. It worked.
It worked.
It did many bigly things.
no.
What?
She hates my Trump impersonations.
Oh.
It was tremendous. Many bigly things.
I did not pick up on that.
That's why you were
yelling?
so confused.
Why are you so angry? Just say bigly.
No, but like we had this ingenious idea of let's try like recording in the same room. So I had to go out and buy like this mixer and more cables and all sorts of stuff. And it's been a rather wild roller coaster ride of settings. And it turns out I have no idea what I'm doing.
Again.
And last week, or this last episode, if you listen to that one, I had my daughter on. And go listen to it. If you think you are, or if you know somebody or someone in your family kind of dealing with an eating disorder, I had my daughter on here who's kind of been through it, and she kind of gave like a firsthand account of how it works, what to look for, what to do, what to say. And so that we recorded that because both Deja and Kara had to do like adult family responsibilities.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't ever let that happen again.
No.
She's like, oh, I'm just going to have another set of 3,000 cousins visiting every next
Oh, I know.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, for
It's also
somebody,
next
it's
weekend.
just like her and
Yeah,
her
I know.
husband. She has like family over every weekend, it seems like.
Well, it's fine. We're loved. We're loved.
Yeah, right?
They really like her. Not
Apparently.
Not
Well-
how my life is.
Well,
But
because
it's
she's not the
good for you.
crazy aunt.
Is she not?
I'm the fun aunt.
Yeah.
It's Lizzie. Lizzie's the crazy aunt.
Yeah.
She's the only one with kids.
Yeah, Lizzie is the one that would like have like 15 cats and
I
all
feel
that
like
kinda stuff.
oh man, if Lizzie were my aunt, that'd be so funny.
Speaking of
piss her
Lizzie, for
off.
those of you who don't know, that's Kara's sister and / our boss.
That is correct. My little sister is my boss.
Yes.
It's
so,
fine.
It's actually it's so fun.
It works out
Yeah,
great.
yeah, she's hilarious. But I was getting ready to comment, like, I'm going back to public teaching. What do you guys get to do?
We'll figure it out.
So, yeah, here we are. This is the first episode. Not the first time we've recorded. I think we've recorded a couple of episodes multiple times over, but I screwed it all up. I think now I finally got it figured out. And I say we get into our trash can fire.
I thought that was our trash can fire.
Oh, yeah. Did you want to just make that our trash can fire?
Let's make that our trash can fire. That way we can save the other one for next time, and then we have another one for the third one that we're going to record today.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
Because of stuff. So,
Yep.
something
like that.
Yeah. You're with us. Look at our listener numbers to skyrocket.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. and then it's like, oh, I didn't know you could have a negative number of listeners.
People have just completely deleted the
Yeah.
app that they're using.
Yeah, people are like, okay,
Sorry.
Days Dumpster Fire, you owe me an episode now. Like,
I'm sorry.
go explain that to our students and how to do integers.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, today I think we've got a pretty massive episode, kind of almost like a series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it is more like a series than it is anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to go briefly talk about what you're going to be doing today, and then Deja, what like you have in mind part of the series, and then I'll finish off with what I have in my part of the series, and then go through it all.
Yeah, so I am going to start with King Louis XVI and his part that he played in the French Revolution. So it's going to be a lot of politics and finances and beheadings. So you're welcome.
That sounds thrilling.
I'm so excited, dude.
Maybe this is why I had the dream that I had last night. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm like, oh wait, there was a lot of heads chopped off.
Yes, and a hand.
There's a hand that went missing too?
Yes, in the storming of Bastille. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
How about you, Deja?
It's all making sense. I am going to be doing Marie Antoinette. And there's going to be a lot of really bad stuff that happens there too.
A lot of gambling and
A lot of
misconceptions.
a lot of
Yeah. misconceptions,
a lot of lies, a lot of
Propaganda.
not truths.
Well, I think for both of your ladies' episodes, it's I think history.
His story.
Yes, in 1796, there was a lot of history going on.
Oh, no.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either.
Yeah, just lost another listener.
It was me.
Yeah, I just irritated somebody. I pissed off that guy in England that listens to our show. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
Friend in
guy.
Britain.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconceptions. I don't think history did those two justice, because if you try to find two people that should have never been put in those positions to solve the problems that were going on in France at that time, it was these two.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been fine probably in any other time period in history where there wasn't massive debt and war going on. If France was doing swimmingly, we would never have known about these two. Swimmingly.
I like that
So,
word.
yeah, a lot of misconceptions there. And then what I'm going to dive into is how the French Revolution was actually a revolution in terms of like it's a cycle. So it starts off with France trying to get rid of royalty and a king and a queen and everything like that. And in the process of doing so, they ended up with an emperor. And so I'm going to kind of go over Napoleon. Napoleon. Yeah, that's actually how you would have pronounced his name. Who was actually Italian, so I don't know how to say his name in Italian. It's a me, at a Mario.
Napoleon.
It's a Napoleano. There goes our Italian listener.
There they
Oh
go.
man.
So I'm going to be doing Napoleon, but instead of kind of like doing his rise to fame and all that stuff, I'm just kind of going to bullet point that because, you know what, that's not the dumpster fire. The dumpster fire is when he tried to invade Russia with 700,000 soldiers and most of Europe's armies behind him. And he got just absolutely wrecked by a boy czar. and a guy who had no military experience at all. But Russia, let's just say Russia knows how to winter.
It's true.
They can
That's
winter
true.
with the best of them.
They're the best winters.
And they're pro. They're master class winterers. So I'm going to go into how Napoleon kind of botched all that up and how he kind of got screwed in that a little bit. And and then he dies of stomach cancer.
Great.
So
Yep.
Sometime later. So, Kara,
Okay.
before I mess something up on this doohickey, let's get it going.
So we're going to start with Louis the 14th before we get to the 16th, which is Louis the 16th great-great-grandfather. There are a lot of Louis to talk about, but I'm going to start with 14. Louis the 14th is a guy who ruled with absolute monarchy, meaning he was the sole proprietor of protection and finance and religion, and anything that was passed through any kind of system of government or parlement or anything was through the king.
So there was there like any sort of I don't want to say a constitutional monarchy because that's kind of what they were pushing for, but was there any sort of like parliament or Congress, or was it just like Louis was the end all be all sole decider of all laws and all that stuff?
Louis the 14th was end all be all decider of all laws with a group of advisors.
Got it.
And the group of advisors were essentially called the Parlement, not Parliament, which is different. The Parlement was like a 13-court system that would assist Louis in passing certain laws.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
So it's kind of like the small council.
Yeah.
On Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
like
pretty
those
much.
were mainly advisors, but they're the ones that came up with the policies, and then it would have been the king that enacted
Correct.
them.
There's no national bank. There's no council, really, like, not council, but like a branch of different branches of government. There's no checks and balances. There's nothing. It's an absolute monarchy.
Okay.
Whereas in England, they had a constitutional monarchy. England went through their glorious revolution back in like 1688, somewhere around there, 88, 89. So 100 years prior to this. And they were kind of the forefathers of a constitutional monarchy where they had the checks and balances, the two chambers of parliament, and they had a prime minister and all of that stuff. So we're going to start there. And then Louis XIV was succeeded by Louis XV. When Louis XV was in power, France was one of the largest European powers of the 18th century. It had the largest population just behind Russia. It had the largest army in Europe, and it became a cultural center full of education, ideas, and sciences. This was the center of the Enlightenment. France's largest population also provided a very large tax pool, which was great. We need that, as you'll find out. France also boasted a super strong trading route and colonial outposts that primarily got their money with coffee, sugar, and slaves as their main sources of external wealth. They primarily traded through the Caribbean and down south in that area. Not necessarily with the what would become the United States. That was primarily Britain's area. So despite all of these wonderful and helpful strengths that France had, France was in crippling debt by the time we get to Louis XV. Between 1749 and 63, France was involved in conflicts against the British, mostly for land. They fought the British in the Second Karnak War in India in 1749 to 54, and then the French-Indian War in North America from 1754 to 1763, and finally the Seven Years' War between all three, India, North America, and in Europe. War is very expensive, and France lost the 7 Years' War, so like they were in bad shape. The 7 Years' War in particular left both Britain and France in shambles. The difference in their recovery was the economic process that they had in place and a lot of boring government stuff.
Well, I think a lot of it too was Britain had that navy.
Well, they had the navy, but what really did it was their trading.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They controlled the oceans for the most part, so Britain was able to trade overseas and make money, and they also had those profitable colonies in the Americas, generating a lot of money, whereas France, I don't think had that. I think France was kind of, I don't want to say landlocked, but France was trading more over land with actual like land-based neighbors, whereas Britain could go all over the world.
Yep. Well, in a nutshell, Britain was making a crap ton of money off of the slave trade and the triangular trade route. That was their moneymaker. That was their baby. So they had that going for them, but also because they had that constitutional monarchy system, it was a lot easier for them to pass different kinds of taxes. So they would just send it to the chamber would be like, all right, cool, and then we'll tax whoever. Obviously, this is going to cause problems in 1775, but it was a lot easier for them to raise money as opposed to France. And I'm going to explain right now. Legally speaking, French society was still following the three-estate system. The first estate was the clergy, followed by the nobility, and then the common people, everybody else. However, society was changing extremely fast. A class of wealthy merchants began to rise into the aristocracy. So in the Middle Ages, we had a very hierarchical, structured, like clergy first, nobility second, common people third. There is no going in between these three estates. Now, especially after the Enlightenment and during the Enlightenment, we have a lot of estates and common people moving up into the aristocracy because they're making a lot of money off of trading. They're making a lot of money off of land. And we're starting to see more of a free flow of how these estates are working, which is extremely important. They would often buy seats of power into the Parlement. So we start to have a lot of wealthy aristocratic people from both the aristocracy and the common people or the bourgeois buying seats into this council government Parlement position. And it's a really weird system where we're having common people who are now very literate and educated because of the power of the press starting to get their own ideas from the Enlightenment, and they're also making money. And the monarchy is starting to get a little bit concerned. Like, this absolute monarchy system is going to start to crumble.
Do you think this may have been in part due to the Gutenberg press?
Everything.
Like, more and more people were becoming literate, and more people could gain information, knowledge on their own. Whereas, like, in medieval times, all knowledge kind of came from the priest. Whereas now they could go out and figure this stuff out on their own.
So my students are going to be hearing this all year over and over and over and over and over again. The power of the press, the Gutenberg press, and afterwards changes everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything from the Renaissance on. It started with humanism. Humanism evolves into the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment evolves into government and law and modern thinking. It's everything. So, yes.
Well, it just seems like, especially when you start having like common folk setting up businesses, and then suddenly I think you're starting to see a rise. Because I know this happened in England as well. You're starting to see a rise of people that don't have that royal name or that family name that dates back to, hundreds of years ago. You have like these nobodies that are now making more money than some of these big family names. Like, there's big family names that have been around since the beginning of France, but they have no money. Like, they were completely bankrupt, but they are living this life because of their name only. But now you're starting to see merchants and stuff like that generating a ton of money, and they're like, wait a second, where's our voice? Like, don't we have a say in it? I'm making a ton of money now, so shouldn't I have a place? And so they were literally just buying their way in to government.
Yeah, and we'll get there. What they're doing is they're buying their way into government, but they're still technically considered in the common class.
Okay.
Which is where the fun part starts, because the nobility class and the clergy did not pay taxes. They accounted together for about 20% of France's entire population, and the population's huge, remember? And that leaves all of the tax responsibility to the peasant class or the common class, and that consists of the other 80%.
Wow. That's almost like what it's like in America today. Funny. It's almost like history is repeating itself. So when do we have our revolution? And I just put Kara in a really awkward position.
Looking into my soul like,
I'm sorry, I didn't want to look at him.
It's not that kind of a podcast.
Help me not.
We're trying to get sponsors, not death threats. Go ahead. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
That'll be the next episode.
She's like, do we have to?
I don't want to talk about it later. So in the 18th century, taxes demanded by the aristocracy were in extreme abundance. So there was a land tax. On top of the land tax, they had a 5% estate tax. And then they had a tax based on the number of people in a family. And then they had a tax on the use of nobility equipment like mills or wine presses or bakeries. So they had a tax on that. And then they had a tax on salt. There was even a tax where if you were selling something, like if you were a merchant trying to make a lot of money, they would tax you for going from one town to another town. And then if you had to cross multiple towns, they would tax you for that. So you had all of these taxes. And then they had other taxes as well. So they would work the land that they lived on. And this is like a landlord type of situation. So just living on this land. They would work on the land for a certain number of days, right? And they would work, like, let's say Monday through Friday. And that Monday through Friday work would go all to the aristocracy or the landlord or whoever owns that piece of land. And then Sunday and Saturday, those days work and harvest or whatever you get in those 2 days, that's just for you to survive off of. So that's kind of how they paid rent.
Oh, yeah, because you got all those taxes, and then you still got to pay your landlords in...
Yep, so you still got to pay your landlord, you still got to eat. Peasants also paid rent in cash on top of that. And then, on top of that, they would have to pay the church tithe on top of that.
Tithe?
Tithe, tithe? Tithe, thank you. Tithe. It's a fun word. Tithe?
Look at the size of those tithes. Like...
No, I feel dumb.
No, you are so smart.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're spending a lot of money.
I love that for you.
They're spending a lot of money.
We'll like bleep it out like it was a bad word.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
That's a good idea.
I think I actually have a bleep thing in here.
Push it.
Yeah, let's see what this does. Oh, yeah. Big ol' huge giant E's.
No! Oh, this is going so sad.
It's like an Austin Powers with them, like, look at those melons.
What is that? That looks like a giant peanuts. Get your peanuts.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I'm having way too much fun with this.
It's tithe.
Tithes. So tithes.
Sorry. Anyway, before Louis XVI took the throne, there were a lot of early attempts to reform the tax system, but because the nobility would often buy their way to influence political power, usually the reforms wouldn't go through because they wanted to keep all of their money, which is obvious. So, and this is especially in the Parlement. So, I mean, they're buying out the Parlement. However, Louis XV was able to shut down the Parlement after having all of these issues, and that was a good deal for the absolute monarchy part of things. Get that Parlement shut down so he can have more control over his government. And eventually the nobility would deny any kind of reform to get these taxes passed. So there was no reform in sight for these tax problems. So it was a lot, I know. But now we get to Louis the 16th. So Louis was the third son of Louis, the Dauphin, and grandson of Louis the 15th.
And then the great-grandson of
Louis the 14th. Yes.
Yeah, just one Marie after another. It's like all of France was just
Marie and Louis.
Yeah.
Marie and Louis.
Like, you guys couldn't come up with anything original. Well, it's like thinking in England, they had like how many Johns?
Yeah,
or
Charles.
Jameses?
George.
Yeah,
Charles.
John, James, George.
Marie was
Jingleheimer
Austrian.
Yeah. So that one's original.
Yeah. Well, it's original in France.
The first time.
France, yeah.
As a child, Louis was well educated. He excelled in geography, Latin, and history, and in his free time, he often went hunting with his grandfather, the king, and enjoyed playing sports. Personality, he was extremely quiet. He was shy. He didn't have a lot of charisma. He was kind of boring and weird.
You mean he didn't have a lot of riz?
No, none. In fact.
But he probably had a lot of drip for being the king.
That slaps.
Oh, you're capping.
Bet. Skippy.
No. No.
I
trying to
totally
think of all
Toilet
the
Ohio
words.
that.
I don't know any other grimace.
That's a thing?
Grimace?
Yeah, it's like skippity.
Oh, it's like that Gen Alpha talk still? Because I know like grimace, like a look, like a grimacing look.
Like the grimace shake, like the shake. You remember that trend?
Oh, the purple
shake.
guy
from McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
All
So
right,
it's like skippity. Oh, toilet
Okay.
Ohio
Okay.
grimace. back to the Riz.
yes.
Oh, it's okay, guys. We've lost all our listeners by now.
I'm trying so hard.
So we can say whatever we want now. We're good to go. We've officially offended everybody.
Anyway. So obviously King Louis did not have the personality to be a king. Just know. In
Fair
December of 1765, when he was 11, his father died of tuberculosis, and that made him the new Dauphin of France, or the prince. And I would also note that this is 2 years after the 7 Years' War, and the country is still struggling financially, extremely much so. So he is now the heir of a nation that is dying. After his father died, I'm not going to try to say that, but this duke became his tutor. And this guy was extremely religious, with a focus on morality and religious history instead of a more well-rounded education. The duke was very firm in his belief that, quote, timidity was a virtue, and that was a virtue, and that he should never reveal his true thoughts or opinions of others. So he was being taught that he needs to be a quiet, timid little mouse guy, and he should never have an opinion. Some historians now believe that this was a major reason for a lot of Louis's decisions later and his demeanor in his adult life. Revolutionaries at the time used this quality in his personality as propaganda, and they would always call the king stupid or he didn't know what he was doing, so they really used it against him. In 1768, Louis's grandfather arranged a political marriage to solidify a new alliance they had just made with Austria. I'm not going to go into those details, just know it's a political marriage. His bride-to-be was the Austrian Archduchess, Marie Antoinette, and she would eventually change that. But 2 years later, in 1770, they were married. Louis was 15, and Maria was 14, so they were children. Children. I'm going to note this many times in the next 2 bullet points.
They are children.
Well, I guess like too, if you really honestly think about it, okay, you're 15 years old, and try to think back when you were 15 years old.
No,
you were freaking out about, or you were getting excited about like maybe getting your learner's permit, and you were freaking out about like a test at school that you're trying to pass. This 15-year-old knows that he's inheriting a country that is horrifically in debt, that there is already a rising group of people that are getting really, really, really frustrated. And he, like, I have to mention, he was aware of what was going on. And then his personality was that, okay, I'd rather be a quiet giant. I would rather, say what needs to be said versus say what I want to say, kind of a thing. And like, you combine all that into a 15-year-old boy who now just got married. How was he supposed to fix all this? I mean, I could not even begin to fathom what I was supposed to be doing if I was 15 and inheriting a country such as this.
And it's not even put in his head at 15. It's put in his head before 15 too.
Yeah.
Like he
knew
he was going to marry. Yeah, it's like
yeah. Oh yeah, and throw a marriage on top of that, and based off of my cursory understanding of this guy, like he was probably even too nervous to get married.
Oh, absolutely. 100% he was. Absolutely. He probably didn't even want to get married. Yeah. It's also important to note that Maria is from Austria. It's a newly obtained country, and the French crown just kind of did it. And the common French people weren't really excited about this whole thing at all. And they were extremely suspicious of the Austrian population, let alone their queen now being from Austria. So for the next 7 years, the new royal couple didn't have any children, and the French population, more likely the people in the courts, attributed this to a lack of Louis not being man enough to consummate the marriage. And they just felt that he wasn't up for the task, right? Like, they were making fun of him. Thought they were saying that he had physical deformities and there's something wrong with him mentally. Guys, he's 15.
Compared to all the other 15-year-olds out there, like, all these other 15-year-olds would have been fine, but Louis, there's something wrong with him.
I was getting so irritated.
Right?
I've been so like irritated by this
this particular piece, yeah.
situation, because I'm like, dog, he is not old enough to be worrying about this stuff at all. And like the amount of pressure, and then you have all of these outs. Anyways,
like homeboy probably hasn't even kissed a girl yet, let alone
consummate a marriage.
Yeah.
So like, okay, he's 15. By the time he's 22, they still haven't had a child. In 1774, while we're still working through this, Louis, his grandfather, the 15th, he died at 64 years old. Louis was 19, and he took the throne after the death of his grandfather.
Not much better.
He was 19 years old. Now, usually, especially before him, like his father was 4, I think, when he got the crown. His grandfather was 4 or 5 years old. So in that perspective, Louis is kind of on the older side, and you would think that he would have some experience, and he does because he was working so closely with his grandfather. But just a friendly reminder of what he's inheriting here. He's inheriting a bankrupt country. The 80% of the population, even if they are wealthy, are being taxed to oblivion. And the country has been at war for like 20 years. And they're trying to get over that. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
Mental health, isn't it?
Right? Now, the interesting thing about Louis is even though he has all of these issues, his priority was that he wanted the popular people, the populace, I guess, to love him as a king. So he was more concerned about the people loving him than actually fixing what was going on with the country.
Yeah. I mean, that to a teenager.
He's a child.
Yeah, to a teenager, you're
child.
more worried about your self-image than you are
your responsibilities.
Yeah.
100%.
It's
That's
normal.
your job,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it's like that's the normal stage of life.
Yes,
Like,
and
it's
100%,
okay.
yes, that's normal, but also we have to remember
Back in these days,
in the context of the time, it's not a good look, and also it's going to lead to a lot of bad decisions. So remember that parliament system I was talking about, the one that his grandfather disposed of, and it was bad for him because he didn't have any absolute power because the rich guys kept taking over and it was screwing the common people as well as him.
Sounds like a good time.
He put it back into place.
Huh.
Okay.
As one does.
He put it back into place because the parliament, in the view of the common estates, is something that gives them some sort of representation. But what they don't understand is that it's the rich people of that third estate that are running it.
Okay.
So what Louis did is he put that back into place thinking that it will help his popularity.
Got it. So in other words, it's like, hey, I'm going to bring this back so people will like me for bringing this back. But what he failed to realize is that he just brought back the rich people. Meanwhile, the taxes are being paid by 80% of the population. And they're like, where's our representation?
Correct. Louis is often quoted as saying something along the lines of the public opinion is never wrong. So just to emphasize more that he really truly does care about what his people think of him.
Yeah.
Louis was also a man who was very much in touch with the ideas of reason and the Enlightenment. He was extremely focused on human rights, which is another reason why, or probably another reason why he was so hyper-focused on getting the approval of the people, as opposed to the approval of the aristocracy or the clergy. He was primarily focused on the people, likely because he was taught in this like age of enlightenment, age of reason type of culture or environment.
So he was trying to be progressive.
He was trying to be progressive, but it didn't work. Like his plan was when he came in was to follow these enlightenment ideas and to be a king of the people. That was his plan. That's what he wanted to do.
Problem is he had no idea who the people were.
Well,
like he knew the rich people. Like that was kind of like the circle, but yes, he meant well for the common folks, but he had no idea realistically what it was that they were dealing with.
His great-grandfather, Louis XIV, I forgot to mention this, he built Versailles. And for those of you who don't know, Versailles is about 12 miles away from Paris. And this is back when we didn't have any cars or anything like that. So 12 miles is a pretty good distance away. Yeah. And was a physical reminder, especially for people who were living in Paris during the Enlightenment, of the separation between the nobility and everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
So he's living in Versailles. He's running things from Versailles, 12 miles away from Paris, the biggest city in the country. So he's trying. Early in his reign, Louis would have a hard time making decisions or deciding who to support in terms of foreign policy and finances. It's like that boring stuff that no young person really wants to do or take care of. He would often get stuck between the opinions of people such as Anne Robert, Jacques Turgot. I am going to murder these names over and over again. I'm so sorry, but
Anne Robert, Jacques
Turgot, and Jacques Necker. Or Jucot Necker?
It would be Jacques Niquet.
Okay.
Niquet.
I'm going to go with Necker because it sounds funny. He's Swiss, too. He's Swiss. He's a Swiss guy.
That's not what made me laugh.
I'm just saying, make sure you really emphasize the vowels in that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
We'll go with Niquet.
I didn't even think that.
I didn't
Yeah,
either.
it's just like, because
Right.
I wasn't following along on the notes, and then I heard Necker. I'm like, what? What?
Well, that's how they were pronouncing it in the documentaries and stuff that I was
Okay, so
listening
yeah,
to.
if he's Swiss,
That's
it would
fine.
be pronounced Necker,
Yeah.
but still, like, bro.
You got to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Jacques N.
N.
Yeah.
Niquet.
Mr. Jacques.
We'll call him Nick.
Mr. Jacques.
Just Nick.
Mr.
Nick.
Nick.
Or Nick. Anyway, because he pops up a few times. So I don't want to butcher that too much. Anyway, for the most part, Louis would compromise on making big decisions, or he would make a ruling that wouldn't be strong enough to sustain any type of reform or change. He would always try to compromise, but he was always overshadowed or overtaken by bigger personalities. And his advisors, would essentially be the one who to make these big decisions for him because he didn't want to do it.
Well, the thing is, it's like a compromise is not necessarily a bad thing.
A compromise is not a bad thing, but when you're in a country who's almost bankrupt, you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Almost a polarizing decision.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you have to stand by it, which sucks because normally I'm like compromise queen. I love
Yeah.
compromises.
Yep. But it's like you got it.
Yeah, you need like
Yeah, but
like,
there's got to be a point where you have to stick to your guns, so to speak.
Yep.
Selfish.
He also had a
Yes.
reputation of listening to the advice of his aristocratic advisors that cared more about their wealth than the wealth of the people that he was trying to gain support of. So he wouldn't often make these big financial decisions. It was the rich people, which kind of was not what he wanted to do in terms of the popularity
Popularity.
thing he's trying to do.
Like his story.
Yeah.
His Tory.
His story. Oh, man.
I need to
That's
butcher
high
something
story.
now. High story.
I need caffeine so bad.
My wife's on her way.
Oh, all right.
Bless you.
Bless
you,
her soul. Anyway, so yes, he's dealing with all of these things. He can't make decisions. Well, it's not that he can't make decisions. He doesn't want to make decisions, or he's afraid to make decisions. We don't really know, but we do have to remember that he's still really young. At this point, Louis was also known to be eating his feelings without sharing his feelings.
Yes.
Eating, so he took his anxiety and ate it away.
So psychologists and historians today believe that he was suffering from anxiety and depression.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like 100%,
yeah.
and you can see it.
Yeah.
But he would eat and eat and eat, and he wouldn't have, or he did not want to have any kind of outlet. He didn't write things down. He didn't talk to people. He just shut it down and kept it in and bottled up. He was known in the courts and in Versailles to be like this slow-moving, chubby guy who ate and he drank an excessive amount, which is, considering the culture of Versailles at the time, for people at Versailles to say that he's eating a lot and he's drinking a lot, that's like Henry VIII status.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Well, especially too when the fattest person in your country is the leader.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Kind of like you look at like Kim Jong-un. He's like the biggest guy in all of North Korea because there's
only one
not
who
enough food to go around.
Eats. Yeah.
And so he gets what he wants, so he's huge. But what about the other millions of people that aren't eating? So that too could be a bad look.
Yep. And at this time, We're sitting around 1773 to 77, with 75 conveniently thrown in there in the middle. In 75, we had the Flower Wars, which was a series of riots in France, primarily in the farm agricultural areas, because they didn't have enough food to make bread, and they didn't have enough money to buy bread. So people were rioting because they were hungry, and he's over here eating his feelings.
Yep.
So, he was also really reserved. He even in his personal journals and diaries, like I was telling you guys earlier, they were more like ledgers. It was just like, I shot a pig today.
It's like,
or
like very factual.
Yes, very
not,
factual.
Not like emotional, but very logical.
Yeah.
Like,
he wouldn't even, go into great detail. It was like, we had a meeting today about this. And that was it.
Right.
Oh, those are the best journal
It's like
entries.
reading
Those
my kids' work journals. It's like, I did math.
Yep.
It's like, cool, what kind of math?
Yeah. Like, how'd you feel about your math work today? Yeah. So there's little to no personal information or thoughts, especially in these early years. It does change when we get closer to like 91, 92. We'll get there. But as of right now, it kind of sucks if you're a historian, because you're like,
what is this?
Why?
Like, your country is starving to death, and here you're talking about your morning's bowel movement. Like, this isn't what I'm looking for. Like, I need something with more sustenance than.
I'm sure historians went to go find the Queen's journals, because the king is just not doing it.
It's like, this is boring.
Yeah, they just like throw it over their shoulders. Like, give me Marie's stuff.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that.
Yeah, it looks big.
Ooh, now this is juicy. Let's go.
Yeah.
No kidding. No kidding.
So Louis would often leave his wife to go hunting or to go hang out by himself. He'd just leave her alone all the time.
Robert Baratheon stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just doing manly things and left her alone by herself. He also picked up an interesting locksmithing hobby.
I thought that was such a weird
He
little
did that.
thing.
I know. And he did that from when he was a child. That's something he started when he was a kid. And then as he got older and more depressed and stressed out, that was his escape.
That was like his only outlet.
That
like,
was his
not
only
journals,
outlet. No.
not coloring, not
locksmithing.
music,
Isn't that
locksmithing.
Yeah.
Did he do that with his grandfather?
He probably did.
remember
I think
hearing
he
something
may.
like that?
Yeah.
So what you're saying, when we look at all the kings in history, like, each king had something to bring to the table. Like, they had something. What you're saying is that Louis here was a genius at breaking out of escape rooms.
Yeah, he was really good at B&Es.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, he could...
He didn't break anything.
He
just
knows what
entered.
to do with a bobby pin.
Like, he knows, he can pick any lock. So he's what you want to bring with you when you're doing an escape room. But other than that, he doesn't really have much going for him.
Like, if you have like a big pack of wolves that are coming in. I mean, he liked hunting, but like, really, if you got locked out, that's the guy.
That's the guy. Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah, if he can get to the door.
Now I'm envisioning that on the what was the third or the second or third Matrix movie where they had the key maker. And this little Asian guy, he's like filing this key, and then here you go, and he puts it in the motorcycle, and it fires right up, and like, wow, you are handy. Like, now I'm thinking of that little Asian guy as like King Louis.
Except King Louis is a really big guy.
He's not, he's not Asian either.
So he's doing all this stuff by himself, right? Meanwhile, in the meantime,
in between time,
I'm waiting on that caffeine man, Maria. Who's now going by Marie Antoinette, her French name. She began to become the brunt of a lot of political propaganda and shaming. So you'll hear it more from Deja. Yeah, she'll explain, but it's like she's going through so much, and she's going through it by herself because Louis is going through his own crap and trying to figure out his own stuff, but in him doing so, he's kind of leaving her.
And he's so reserved.
Yeah.
That it's just like there's no more room for her.
Exactly.
Crap.
And that
basically
sucks because she's going through so much. And I'm so sorry I can't go into it.
I will let you know.
But you will do it for me.
Well, and I feel like he couldn't, like, he was so reserved, he probably wouldn't even tell her to be like, hey, cut back on the gambling or cut back on this, cut back on that. He probably just didn't have it within him to put his foot down and be like, this whole nation's horribly in debt. Maybe being in debt like millions of dollars isn't going to help our image, if he was even aware that was going on.
he probably wasn't aware. And
honestly, I think his anxiety. He was so anxious.
He was so just hyper tunnel vision focused on what he was trying to go through. And what sucks is Marie Antoinette was trying to tell him. She saw through everything. Yeah. She's really smart.
Yeah.
She tried to tell him over and over and over again throughout this whole thing. And he was just so tunnel vision. And don't get me wrong. Especially later on, he was a very good father. Mm-hmm. And he really did love his wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just made so many mistakes.
Yeah. And that's like a really big thing is he didn't not like her.
Yeah. No, it wasn't
it wasn't like a lack of care.
Yeah.
He was, I don't personally think he was ever in love with her. I don't think it was that kind of love, but I do think he had a lot of care for her.
Mm-hmm.
Respected her.
Yeah, respected her a lot. But I think it was I think there was a lot of neglect because of his own personal mental health. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. 100%. So yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like the propaganda reel that was going around at this time. Like
Well, and I think the propaganda just had a heyday with it. Like the propaganda could just take it and spin it any way they wanted.
Oh, it was a machine.
Yeah.
Like this propaganda machine, let me tell you, is so strong.
Yeah.
Like the rumor mill, especially in Paris, and Versailles, the French are terrible about this at this time period.
My horoscope today said not to gossip. Isn't that funny? No,
I'm
funny. Not even joking.
We're talking about
gossiping. Do not gossip today. I'm like, I'm not gossiping. I'm spitting facts.
Yeah. Sorry,
someone else did the gossiping. We had to sift through that. Okay.
Well, and I know at this time in France they had those salons.
Yeah,
where they like anybody could go to these things and just discuss whatever it is they wanted. In
those were primarily in Paris, and then in Versailles it was worse because Versailles is a smaller group of people.
Yeah,
and it's like living in a tiny town where everybody knows everybody and everybody knows everybody's business. Mm-hmm. So it just was rampant.
I just find it funny, like Versailles back then was considered like really, really far away. But when I look at my morning commute to get to our school, it's like 45 miles away.
It's like the distance between Paris and Versailles is like my house to your house.
Yeah.
Versus like what I'm thinking of in my head when I picture it because of all the things that I've read and how far away it was. It feels like I'm driving to work.
Yeah.
Ain't technology great?
Yeah, it's just wild to just kind of put it in perspective like that.
Think about it now. Because it took a few hours to get to Versailles from Paris, I would say in today's terms, by car, if we left Phoenix and we got to maybe
Sedona.
I was thinking Flagstaff, so yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
That part of the state.
Yeah. Or north, or further north.
Yeah, like
the Grand Canyon.
Southern to northern.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Grand Canyon's about 4 hours away.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in 1777, we have all this crazy stuff going on. Louis is super depressed. Marie Antoinette is going through her stuff. We've got financial issues that we're trying to fix, but we can't. And we have the propaganda machine talking about Louis's incompetence in having a child. And the Holy Roman Emperor...
It's so depressing. It really is so bad.
I know. The Holy Roman Emperor... So if for those of you who want some clarification, the Holy Roman Emperor was essentially the king of France. Not Germany, the king of Germany. He writes to Louis and he says, bro, what are you doing? You can figure this out, but you're being an idiot. And then he goes and travels to France... And he stays for a visit, hangs out with the queen and the king and all of that stuff. And about 9 months after his visit, Marie was pregnant.
Bada bing, bada
bing. So it could be safe to say that good old Uncle Joey provided some helpful advice to the king to consummate that marriage. So good on Uncle Joseph.
Yeah, got him on the internet, showed him a few websites.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Had to help the brother out.
Catholic haven. Kara got her. We gotta take a break. Kara got her caffeine.
Everyone, I got my caffeine. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, now she's gonna start slurping that thing.
No, she won't. She hates every day. Not every day because we don't record every time we record. We like have to test it by. And Kara
Oh,
She's making the
yeah,
face. She doesn't like it.
So cringy.
She refuses to do that to us.
I hate it so much. Okay.
And she's back.
And I'm
and
back.
hydrated. Let's go.
And I'm hydrated. Here we go. Just ready for the Bastille. Okay. So in 1778,
Bastille.
the Bastille, Louis made a very popular decision amongst at least the people. Now, I'm not saying it was a good decision, but it was a popular decision. In 1778, he agreed to assist the American colonies in their revolution against France. The reason this was extremely popular is not because they wanted to necessarily help the colonies out, but because they wanted to stick it to Britain.
Yep.
Now, he got these funds from the Swiss banker who I mentioned earlier.
Mr. Neck.
Mr. Neck. He got these from that guy. And the war ended in 1783, and it was considered a victory for Louis because, you know, the colonies won. That's who Louis was supporting. It was a whole thing. Britain lost Hasek, that whole thing. And what he didn't know was that it was really expensive to borrow all of that money.
Yeah.
And it's going to
Usually.
come back and bite him in the butt. But
And it
for
was
now,
probably like 30-40% interest as well to make it even better.
oh, we're going to get there. But for
I
now,
can't wait.
Woohoo, great job, Louis.
And also too, like one of the reasons why France got involved is because a certain Benjamin Franklin was hanging out there,
Yes.
and he was playing the long game of the sales pitch. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mr. Franklin maybe made some promises, maybe some financial promises down the road that, hey, you help us out,
Yeah.
and then that never came
Yeah.
to fruition.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, so Ben
Yeah.
Franklin was like, "Hey, you help me out, I'll help you out. I'll help you with some of your debt.
Yep.
We'll get you caught up."
Yep.
And then after the war, Louis was like, "Hey, George Washington,
Yeah.
about that debt." And then yeah, he
Washington's
was,
like, what debt?
"What debt?
He's
What are
like,
you talking about?"
Like, I was in the field fighting a war. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. What do you mean?
It's like, I almost died. I do not know what you're talking about. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally just got this job and I don't even want it. So I don't know what to tell you, bro. Call the 800 number.
So during the time of the Revolution, Louis and Marie's first daughter was born in 1778, followed by their oldest son in 1781, a second son in 85, and a daughter in 87. Unfortunately, their youngest daughter did pass away at 11 months old, but all of the other children, for the most part, survived, except for, we'll get there. Anyway, so Louis also became a patron for a very niche science that I thought was fun. Again, he's trying to be super popular with this Age of Reason. He really liked science. It's great. Despite his wartime debt, he did finance a lot of these scientific explorations of hot air balloons.
Oh, yeah.
The man loved them.
Yep.
So one noble patron, I cannot. How do you say this?
Etienne
Montgolfier.
Montgolfier.
Yeah,
Gauffier?
Montgolfier.
Gauffier.
Okay, that guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it in the notes.
Oh, sorry. Page 4. So he financed this guy. This guy's great.
Etienne Montgolfier.
Okay,
Yeah, Etienne Montgolfier.
thank you. So he sent a balloon 60 feet above Versailles, and it was carrying one sheep, one duck, and a rooster in a basket. I don't know why. I just love that little detail so much.
Some men send monkeys into space. Other men send a duck into the air because, in case that duck couldn't fly.
Balloons.
Yeah, that balloon was going to help him.
I'm so tired of humans and flying.
It's so fun, though. I loved it. Anyway, in
Can you imagine
1785.
that sheep, what is going on?
In the basket.
It's like looking over the edge, like, ah! It was probably screaming the entire time.
Ah!
Meanwhile, that Etienne guy is like, get me the heck out of here. This just throws a sheep over.
Oh no.
So annoying.
It's like, bah.
So great. Another one that Louis completely financed was an expedition of Jean-Francois de la Perouse, in which he circumnavigated the world. I think on a boat. I don't remember.
Yeah,
But he
that was the only thing that could make it around the world that time.
Yeah, I don't think it was a balloon, but it was a boat. And Louis also built a very fancy new naval port in Cherbourg. How do you say this?
Cherbourg. Cherbourg.
Cherbourg.
Cherbourg. I am so sorry. Anybody who's from France, I am butchering this so hard.
I took 5 years of French when I was in junior high and high school, and I'm
better than we are.
I'm working my way through it, but yeah, Cherbourg.
I'm trying to learn French, so I'm trying to like remember the things that I've been learning from Duolingo.
I took Spanish, so
I did too, and I failed.
I'm floundering
because it's really bad in school. Anyways,
so while these triumphs were extremely celebrated by the wealthier people and subjects, even the wealthier like people in the common class, they were still like, yeah, this is great. Peasants who were struggling, who were trying to figure out how to eat their next meal, were definitely taking note. Another notable success during Louis's early reign was the Edict of Versailles in 1788. This did restore a lot of civil rights to Protestants in France after 102 years of not being able to practice the religion they wanted. So that was something that he did that was positive.
So like he gave them the ability to like practice their religion, but
they could also vote
and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Now, are you ready?
Yeah, I feel like now we're gonna light this dumpster fire.
Are you ready?
Going down.
Hold on.
Kara's doing her "Are you ready?" dance, and it's like she like kind of punches the air forward, like it's very cute.
Yeah.
And I'm ready only because she's so excited.
Yeah, she's doing like the Running Man from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, she's.
All right.
Little foxtail hanging off the side. Let's go, Utah Saints.
So we set all these dominoes up. Let's knock them down. Let's knock down all these dominoes that we have set up. In 1786, one of Louis's chief financial advisors had a heart-to-heart with his king, and he says, great work with the revolution. Good job. But we have a problem. We don't have any more money. And the peasants can't afford any more taxes. And Louis was like, you're lying. Don't kid me like that. And Louis goes and takes a look at the books himself, and he's like,
his anxiety.
Crap.
Yeah, he's just looking at he's like tipping the pages out, and there's like nothing. Like
he's like, hello.
He's like, wait.
Where is everything? And they like turn to the first page, and it says 0. Oh.
Yeah.
It's like when I open my bank account the day before payday. I'm like, oh yeah, crap.
Yeah.
One more day.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that big old giant negative sign in front of it, we'd be loaded. Yeah.
Integers, friends.
It's amazing what that little dash does. Like, take some white out and get rid of it. Like, dude, I am financially set.
Good.
Right?
Coasted.
So the financial advisor, he's like, okay, we're up to our necks in loans. Half of our payments are only going towards interest. So all of these loans that they took out for this war, they are paying 60% interest. All of their everything they're paying is 60% interest. And that's not even a principal, none of that. So on top of that, do you remember that loan that you took out from that Swiss banker guy?
Oh yeah, Mr. Necker.
Those are coming due here pretty soon. So we're not even adding that. But now...
And meanwhile, like, hey, America...
Bonjour.
Crickets.
I'm holding this little piece of paper with 3 letters on it that says, I owe you.
I need that.
We need that. Meanwhile,
and I thought it was supposed to be UOI. And it's not working out for me.
Yeah. Meanwhile, America is like trying to figure out how in the world, like,
they're gonna be America.
Well, and Virginia's like, I already paid my debts, and then the North states are like, so absorb our debts. Yeah, it's I can see the mess over there translating to the mess over in France.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't exist during this time.
It's so crazy. So with all of these financial issues, Louis decides to see if the Parlement that he just put into place would be willing to assist in the tax reform. So we have to do something with these taxes, right? We have to figure out how to get some money because this 80% of the population, even the wealthy ones, can't give us any more taxes. So we have to figure this out.
Okay.
Right? So they go over there. And, okay, so he goes to this Swiss banker. And this is the Swiss banker's plan. He says, this is how we are going to reform it. We are going to put in more land taxes on top of the land taxes everybody already pays, and we're going to put in a stamp tax. Woo! Stamp taxes. We know that goes really well.
Yeah, because how did that turn out in America?
That. Yeah. Holy cow.
And next thing you know, there'll be a glass tax and a sugar tax and a tea tax.
There's already a salt tax.
Water tax.
A breathing tax.
All right, so this is the plan. Tax. They go to Parlement in 1787, and they go to the Parlement in Paris. And essentially, the Parlement is like, you're an idiot. They refuse any tax reform. Louis and his financial advisors are proposed, and they told them essentially that they needed to hold an estate general. So an estate general is a big meeting where you have all three estates that meet together and then they vote.
Okay.
Okay. And this hasn't been done since 1614.
Oh.
Nobody really knows how to do it.
No one was alive for that.
I can see King Louis. He's like, so do we put the snacks over there next to the drinks, or
Yeah.
The drinks and the snacks need to be right.
So Louis
there
is like,
next to
yeah, we
me.
need to put the food there.
Because I'm going to get real stressed out during this.
Can we get Mozart to perform?
yeah,
That would be grand.
yeah, pay him whatever he wants.
Yeah, we don't care. Just pay him what he wants. Meanwhile, Marie Antoinette's like, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
Meanwhile, she's like, hey, honey, I need $150,000.
Actually, we'll get to her response to this whole thing. But anyway, so they also had an interesting point. This Parlement in Paris, they said they're going to refuse the king's tax reform ideas, and they essentially told him they will no longer hike taxes just because you are the king. It will be decided amongst the citizens of France, not subjects, but citizens. This is the first time on record where anybody of any kind of power uses the word citizens as opposed to subjects.
Yeah. In fact, like, I know, like, at the height of the French Revolution, everybody had to refer to themselves as like citizen so-and-so, citizen Robespierre and citizen Napoleon and
Yep.
all that.
Yep, this is the first time that it was said. So in 1788, after failing at this, and before they tried the estate general idea, because they really didn't want to do it, Brienne, who was the financial advisor, along with, the Swiss guy, they attempted to undermine the Parlement.
Good.
So after they asked for permission, they're like, maybe we can try forgiveness instead.
How does that go?
Ask for forgiveness when you owe billions of dollars
Yeah,
to
there's
somebody.
no... All right.
All right, so they went over there. This instantly backfired.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like,
that
Louis
did.
like, hey, look, I'm so sorry, I don't have the money, but I got all these coupons. And like, here's one for a carriage wash.
I have to.
Here's another one for like a horse wash.
Let me
like,
tell you that they tried that with the general population.
Uh-huh.
We will get there.
oh,
So this
I'm
backfires.
joking. Like, I'm literally trying to make jokes, and you're like, no, stop going ahead of me.
She's like, oh.
Stop.
Wait.
Ed,
You have
stop,
no idea.
stop, like, reading ahead.
I know,
Like,
it's
and
so
then I'm like, no,
funny.
I'm just trying to be funny here. Like, I know, stop reading ahead. I'm not. I'm just trying to show how funny this is. Like, we're going to get to it.
So instead of getting the people on their side, so instead of getting this 80% of the population, including the rich commoners, on the nobility side, what they do is the people began to riot. They saw this action as the monarchy trashing their existence of a court system and replacing it with a royal court. Remember, the Parlement is like a symbol of their say in what happens.
Yeah.
So when they go in there and they're like, no, we're going to do it our way, the people didn't like that.
Yeah.
Now, this riot is called the Revolt of Parlement. Some historians mark June 7th, 1788, the day that this riot started, as the start of the revolution. So depending on what historian you ask, this is the start of the revolution, not Bastille, which is an interesting kind of fact. I thought it was interesting. Anyway, so because of the reaction of the people, it was extremely violent. They started throwing tiles at everybody.
Yeah.
So they also called it like the tile riot. It's great. It's a fun time. And soldiers were sent
No, it's
in
not.
to calm the situation down. They had other people from nearby towns coming in. This is outside of Paris. This is not in Paris, but they had like other people from other towns coming in to fight against the soldiers that were being sent in. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, meanwhile, rich people walking into the bathrooms like, where's all our tiles?
I know. They're
Where-
like,
why are our
happened?
roofs
Who's
bare? I'm
remodeling?
so confused.
Yeah, it's like, it's just bare, like, sheetrock. Like, I just put these tiles in yesterday, and now they're gone. And you look out the window, and there's people, like, throwing them like snowballs at each other. And
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was all of these rioters drove the soldiers out. They drove out the nobility.
oh, yeah.
Like, bye-bye. Thank you. Don't come again. And younger people in the bourgeois class, so that higher echelon common class, I probably said it wrong, but don't worry about it. Anyway,
you say bourgeois,
Bourgeois.
or bourgeoisie.
yeah, I've heard bourgeoisie, but it's harder for me to say. So I'm
You're
gonna
like
go with bourgeois.
bourgeoisie. Glorious Bastards. Brad Pitt's character is like Galarmo.
It's like,
It's like Guillermo
A rare Verderci.
Galarmo.
Oh, it's a good time.
Dominique Dico.
Okay. Hold on. Here we go. In the salons around Paris and around the larger towns and all of that stuff, the younger people who are witnessing and hearing about this revolt, and especially the ones who were in the higher classes nearest to nobility, they saw this as an opportunity. Louis and the nobility believe that they can control the situation or find a way to control it. And in reality, they're going to be losing it to these people who are having ideas. After this revolt, these younger lawyer revolutionary types, so like a lot of these people are lawyers, they're steeped into law, they're steeped into the Enlightenment ideas and all of this stuff. They're following what's happening in the American experiment and all of that stuff. They're heavily influenced.
And I think by this time, Thomas Jefferson was there now.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson was probably here now.
And he was stirring the pot.
But I will also say that their view of how they want to do things is more like Britain and not like America.
And I will also say that this entire time I am saying all of these dates as if I have been singing Hamilton.
I love it.
Everything 17.
1789.
They make
get it out of my head.
Get Lin-Manuel to do a whole musical thing on the French Revolution.
Amazing.
I mean,
okay.
And shoot your shot or lose your head. Pull the string.
Oh no!
As the guillotine like slowly comes down. As a bullet slowly hits Hamilton.
So these younger lawyer people.
Younger lawyer people.
These
I think you can say young lawyers, but okay.
Yeah, the younger
lawyer people. I am a middle school teacher, therefore I will talk to you like a middle school teacher.
She's like, you know what? I am an educator.
I am.
These skippity lawyers.
No, that's not right. So these people are now demanding an estate general, just like the Parlement was demanding an estate general, just like everybody in that third class wants an estate general.
Okay, so like they want an estate general, right? But do they? I mean, obviously, like the rich people probably could pick a few representatives, but did like the common people even know who they were going to select for this? Like, not all 10 million people can show up at once.
Yeah, no, they do have an election system.
Okay.
Where they vote for who they're going to have representing them. It's extremely complicated and kind of confusing, and I didn't really understand it, so I'm not going to talk about the election process.
Yeah.
But they did have an election system to, have
so they could find somebody to show
representatives.
Up.
Yes.
Okay.
Dang, if it's not making sense to you, I wonder how confusing it is, because I feel like your explanation of like feudalism was so perfect and made sense, but anything else I read or looked at, I'm like, what?
Well, and don't forget too, like they were using a different calendar at this time as well. When the revolution was up and running, they changed the calendar to like different epochs of what was going on.
Ugh.
So like,
gosh,
yeah, they had their own way of doing things, and the French way was like, let's make it as confusing and as complicated as possible.
Yeah. So the third estate, the common people, the commons as they were often called.
Or the sans culottes.
Sure.
The ones without pants.
Sure. So they have
culottes. Those are the rich people because they had fancy pants, and then the sans culottes were the ones without the fancy pants, the common folk.
Right.
I love that.
But when I say commons, I'm talking about both.
Okay.
Umbrella.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So they have an equal number of representatives and votes and all of that stuff. Now the clergy and the nobility and the commons, all three of those have one vote in this estate general. How do you think that will likely go if they all vote separately on the same issue?
So 3 different voting sessions.
3 different chambers. So you have the nobility in a chamber, the clergy in a chamber, and the commons in a chamber, right? If you are going to vote on tax reform, and the first estate, the clergy, who's making lots of money off of the common people, and the second estate, the nobility, who's making lots of money off the common people, how do you think that's going to be voted every single time?
Yeah.
It's going to go so great.
Yeah.
Right? Great. It's going to be so good.
Like, hear me out. This is going to be perfect.
This is going to be
This
great.
is a great system. Everyone's going to be happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much.
Everybody in this room, we're golden. Like, so don't worry about a thing.
Right.
So text the crap out of those people in the other room.
Okay. So that's how it works generally. All right. Now, what they want, the common people, they are asking for this Estates General, but they want some differences with it, right? Because this thing hasn't been held since 1614. So they're like, all right, so what we want to do is we want to have this vote, and we want to have double the amount of representatives for us, and we want to all vote in the same room. That way they get majority rules, because what they're aiming for is majority rules.
Yeah. And literally, let's be in the same room so our votes are actually counted. Because I'm pretty certain, too, they were probably experiencing things where, like, okay, they would vote, and then it would go into the next room where they weren't allowed to go, where the bourgeoisie and the other states were, and they probably looked at the votes and just threw them into the trash can, and then they probably were telling them, like, oh, yeah, we saw your votes, but...
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, they got lost.
Yeah.
So there's a suggestion box outside our door. Just put your thoughts and feelings in there, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So primarily out of desperation, Louis and his advisors decided that maybe forming the Estate General is not a bad idea. With some inspiration from British Parliament, the people in the Third Estate agreed to this plan. And in August of 1788, it was publicly announced that the Estates General would take place in May of the next year. When they announced this, the official Estates General had not been held since 1614, so really everybody's just winging it. Now, even though we are just winging it, there is some planning involved. Literally a week or so later, after this announcement to the public that the Estates General is going to be held, the Crown sent out another announcement to the public. The financial advisor, this guy Brian that we were just talking about, he goes on public record and tells everybody the Crown is officially bankrupt.
Oh,
yeah.
And everyone will have to be paid in paper money.
Cool.
Which back then was essentially an IOU.
Not a dang thing.
So when I was joking about the whole IOU thing, and you're like, slow your roll,
like,
let's
hold
stop
on,
reading ahead.
skirt.
Here we are.
Oh, yeah, because at that time, the all paper money had to be tied to like a gold standard. And if there was no gold, then that piece of paper meant absolutely nothing. So, oh, Lord.
In June of 1788, there were massive rain and hailstorms during the summer, with hailstones that were big enough to damage harvests on the farms and crops that were still trying to grow. The rest of the summer suffered a drought that was extremely hot that dried out the remaining crops. And the winter was brutally cold going into 1789, the magical year that we all love so much.
1789.
This lovely series of events caused a major food shortage. On top of the IOU announcement, on top of the ever-awaiting Estate General meeting. So, on top of all these other things, like I just said, Louis just had, now he has to deal with this food shortage, and he's absolutely bankrupt. He tried to start like a lottery system to ration out grains and stuff for the people. He tried to give whatever he had to the people. It just wasn't enough. But he did try. We have to give him that.
How's his personal image looking now?
He's still fat.
He's still a chunker.
Like, at least this way, if he had just like shed some weight and tried to look hungry like everybody else, it probably would have gone over
a little better.
A little better, yeah.
Yep.
Or King, I just need you to look like hell while you go out and make this announcement so that you can look like you're suffering with everybody else.
Just look like you're straight up not having a good time.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe announcing a masquerade for all of Europe's like wealthiest. Let's put that on the back burner for now. That's not a good look.
Yes. So this Brienne guy, after he makes this decision and after this really crappy harvest season, Louis fires him. And instead, he hires this Swiss guy, this neck guy. And this Swiss guy, the propaganda machine loves him, which is weird. Like a Swiss banker, propaganda, the public, the Parisians, they love this guy.
Really?
Like they actually liked him?
They actually liked him.
Oh, I
genuinely.
thought you were being a little facetious.
Yeah,
No. They loved him to the point because what they believed, and the Swiss, even back then, had this reputation of being like this straight arrow Protestant banker people. Like, if anybody's going to handle your checkbook, it's you.
Yeah.
Right.
Very logical.
Very
methodical.
logical. They know what they're doing.
Like,
so
they're like a whole country of Spocks.
Right. And so, essentially, the propaganda machine made this guy out to be the hero and savior that was going to save France from financial ruin.
Good.
Okay? So we need to remember this. This is very important. This is a guy who also loaned Louis money And
Our Lord
he's
and
actually
Savior Swiss
he's
Necker.
a pretty stand-up guy. I don't mind him anyway.
Yeah, talk about a guy who was like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I wish he wrote a book.
Right?
Because the things that the conversations he had been a part of, like, probably changed France's history for like all the 1800s.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this shortage into perspective for you real quick. A family of 4 would generally eat 2 loaves of bread. And these breads were called like 4-pound loaves, and they were kind of big. See Ed's episode on bread. Anyway, so they would eat 2 of them per day. A day's work would earn somebody about 25 sous. And that piece of bread would cost 8 sous. So essentially, already they're paying over half of their income, their daily income, on bread just to feed their families.
Yeah.
It's over half of the wages. And with this food shortage happening, what do you think is going to happen to the price of bread?
Yeah.
It's going to go up, way up. The rumor mill starts to roll around, and people are blaming nobility. They're saying that they're hoarding extra grain and having lots of parties with lots of food, and everybody's having a good time while everybody's starving, and they're spending all of their money just trying to eat. The only thing that's going to fix this is the estate general the estate general meeting, this magical meeting that's going to fix everything for us. It's not a good time for Louis. Everybody's talking crap about him and his wife.
It's amazing how it still goes on today. Like, it doesn't matter who's in charge in Washington. They always just get beat up on every little thing. Granted, I think in America, we're not as influenced by one person in Washington, D.C., as much as like how everybody would be influenced by Louis' decisions. But I just find it so fascinating that if you want to be the most hated person in your country, become the leader of it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you will get blamed for everything.
The power of the press.
Yeah.
It never goes away. So farmers are struggling. Unemployment is rampant, especially in the large cities as Paris. So people who are trying to escape the food shortages in the countryside, they're going to the cities thinking it's going to be better. But because France is bankrupt, the cities are just as bad. There's no food. The weather is hot garbage.
I didn't like that
Hot garbage.
Steaming garbage.
Everything is hanging on Louis' magical meeting. This meeting has not been elaborated in public. All they told the public was, we're going to have this meeting. I don't know how we're going to do it yet. It hasn't been done in 100 years, but we're going to do it. In 1789, just before the estate is held, it is announced that our Swiss banker, that the meeting will be organized as such. So just before this is held, this is how we're going to do it. The third estate will have a doubled number of representatives, just like they wanted, up to 600 from 300.
Ooh, that's a big...
It's a lot of representatives.
Yeah.
It has not been decided whether the estates will all sit together in one chamber or if they will congregate into different chambers by estates. So at this point, they are not telling anybody whether everybody's going to be in the same room or not. They hold elections to choose their representatives for each estate. So the men get to vote for who they want to represent them.
She said the men.
No.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
People insinuate everybody, and that's not how it works.
I do want to remind everybody that when we're talking about voting, especially at this time, it's always the men.
Yep.
And I just automatically, when you're like the people voting, I'm like the men.
Yeah.
Just so you know, like that's automatically like my perspective.
It's interesting how like that we just instinctively just default to that.
Yeah. It's just because it's the truth.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Women weren't people. It's crazy.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
So what Louis does... What Louis does is during the selection process is actually rather interesting. He sits down and he listens to all of these representatives and he says, tell me your grievances.
That's a good idea.
And he does. He sits down and he listens to everybody, which I have to give him some credit for that. But however, most of these representatives, they ask for things that are not attainable. They ask for lower or zero taxes.
Okay.
They ask for more food. They ask for more freedom. They ask for lower prices. They ask for less government or more government, depending on who you ask. And it's just, it's so much that cannot be provided.
Right?
Gosh, the anxiety this man is probably having.
I know.
Like, I feel so deeply for him. My anxiety is going
bad.
crazy.
All right. So finally, May 4th, 1789, the meeting is being held on May 5th. So May 4th, there's a fanfare. It's a parade. It's a big shindig. Like, everybody's coming to see this
I'm sure
parade.
There's bands playing.
Oh, yeah, there's music playing. Everybody in the clergy.
It's like the Renaissance fair.
So just let me read you this quote real quick from the Versailles website. It says, from all over France, 1,200 deputies have arrived for the event. The deputies of a third estate, the commoners, were the greatest in number, dressed in black, with a gold and black overcoat. They were all holding a candle in their hand except for those carrying the banners and the king's falconers. The king himself was wearing an overcoat of golden fabric and was surrounded by the most important officers to the crown. On his hat, he wore a regent diamond, which was the largest diamond in the kingdom. The queen was wearing a gold and silver dress. The king cheered, but not the queen.
Uh-huh.
Good.
Now, I did
How
also...
to really relate to your subjects.
Right. I also want to note that the common estate was not told that this is going to be a fancy dress-up event.
So
the clergy was told. Yeah, so they were just told to wear black, and that's what they did. And I guess there was some like gold in there, but for the most part, they just wore black.
Oh, golly.
The meeting was held in Versailles in a single hall. It was kind of small.
Whoa, 1,200 people stuffed into one hallway?
Yep.
Oh, no.
I know the hallway was big, but still.
I'm so claustrophobic.
King Louis does have a speech, and at the end, he removes his hat. And this is just for funsies because I really love this little note.
Hey, you're telling me about this. This is funny.
So he has his speech, right? And at the end of his, he's just like, hey, welcome, whatever. He removes his hat as noble tradition, right? So he removes his hat and the nobility follows, but the commoners are really confused. They don't know what the general customs are. So they kind of remove their hats, like, and then Louis puts it on, and then the commoners are confused again, and they put it on, and then Louis just like taking his hat on and off, and everybody's like,
just for like 10 minutes.
On?
It's just silent, like everybody's just hats on, hats off. Just, what are we doing?
It has nothing to do with anything. There is no consequences.
And then there's one guy that's like, where's my bread? That's what I'm here
He's
for.
just like, are we done yet?
Yeah.
Like,
where's the hors d'oeuvres?
we get it.
Okay, so remember, we have our Swiss banker now. He's up to speak at this magical meeting that's going to solve all of our financial problems. This is our financial hero, everybody. The commoners who have glorified this guy are all very excited. Like, this is super exciting.
Sorry.
And what he does is he goes up there to speak, and he only speaks for about 30 minutes.
Only
30 minutes.
Wow.
All right, and he goes, all right, guys, we have like 2.5 hours of this. I'm just going to hand my speech off to this other guy who can speak better. And this other guy who can supposedly speak better
was like Ben Stein.
He can't.
He starts the speech that
Like the
our
sloth
Swiss
from Zootopia.
he starts the speech that our Swiss banker wrote, and it's so dreadfully boring
Oh, no.
that the king actually starts to fall asleep. Folks in the hall are now starting to fall asleep. It must have been riveting, right? Can you imagine?
I'm just imagining like Professor Snape reading like like a Donald Trump speech. There's so much like emphasis in that man's like speeches.
Yeah.
And then Snape's just like
We will be fixing the issue.
And we will be paying our taxes,
like
Mr.
Russell.
Potter.
So you have this guy, right, whose reputation has been exploded to the point where he's basically a folk hero.
Oh.
And he's supposed to be having all of these solutions to all of your problems, and his speech is so boring that everybody
he just
passes
euthanized
out.
1,200 people in one sitting.
Oh no.
Oh, it was so bad. And then the next day it was saved for like voting and deliberating and all of that stuff. This is where the problem is. It's not as funny. So the plan was, and this was not communicated to the commons, the plan was that they were going to be deliberating and voting in separate chambers, as tradition. So again, King Louis compromised. What he did was he doubled up the representation, but he did not give them the majority vote.
What?
And
So wait, what? They only had like a 50% vote?
so instead of having the majority vote where everybody votes in one room,
Yeah.
they were going into the separate chambers, and then each estate would have just one vote, which means clergy and nobility versus commons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So instead,
nobody's going to think that's unfair.
Yeah, right. So instead of everybody moving to the chambers or like the rooms for the chambers or whatever, as they were instructed, the entire Commons estate, the entire 600 people didn't move. They refused.
Yeah.
They wanted to have an equal opportunity. They wanted to vote as a whole group because that would give them more in representation. So now we're at a stalemate. And it lasted a few days at first. They're still here in this room.
Gosh.
They didn't move. And they refused to do any kind of vote or deliberation. I'm sure eventually they went like to a hotel or whatever and they left the actual building. But they didn't put in any type of vote or decision. And they made that stalemate last for a month. They refused to do it. And by the time we're done here, we come back to Versailles because Louis is like, we got to figure this out. And Louis is gone for a little bit. I'll explain why later. And then he comes back and the people of the Commons, the representative, they say, okay, either we do this together like we wanted, or we, as a third estate, we leave here. We call ourselves the National Assembly and we will handle the issues ourselves. And we will forget you because we're 80% of the population. We don't really need you. You're bankrupt. You have no power.
Yeah.
Goodbye. All right. So during the stalemate, on June 4th, we're going back to Louis' personal life here. Mm-hmm. On June 4th, during this whole thing, Louis' firstborn son dies of tuberculosis. Both Louis and Marie Antoinette are incredibly distraught. And I did want to reemphasize, really again, they were really good parents. They loved their children so much. So this was really hard for them.
They actually spent a lot of time with their kids where they would do actual like family things with them.
Like actually parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really... non-traditional. They were weird.
It was very different.
Yeah, they were non-traditional by being a traditional parent.
Correct.
Yeah, in today's society.
Yes. Yeah. So Louis falls into a deep depression, more depressed than he was before, and he leaves Versailles altogether. The family as a whole basically leaves Versailles to go to a retreat somewhere else. And he's gone for this whole stalemate, which I don't blame him.
No, yeah. No,
I don't blame him at all.
As you probably should. It's probably best for your mental health to like take a moment.
Yeah. But when he returns,
the common folk ain't gonna care.
Oh no. They're like,
yeah,
that's crazy. My firstborn died with his head chopped off from a horse.
Yeah.
Like
or like like all my kids die at the ripe old age of died at childbirth.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, oh, your kid made it that far? Congrats.
Oh, my kid starved to death, so I don't want to hear it.
Right? So Louis gets back. He finds the estate general has been completely broken. The Commons has decided to take matters into their own hands, and they made this National Assembly thing. And all of his advisors are pointing fingers at the Swiss banker for being an idiot. Now,
and it's on fire.
Correct. Louis, because he's such a good decision maker, he has a hard time choosing between his Swiss banker friend and tradition versus the Commons ultimatum in National Assembly. Finally, he makes a decision. Louis announces that there will be a new meeting, this meeting will meet the Third Estate halfway, but there will be no more of this National Assembly business. You are going to be a part of this estate. I'm going to lay down the law, at least I'm going to try to, and we're going to figure this out.
Down.
Right? He's like, I'm going to make a decision.
We're no more debt, and everybody gets pay raises.
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, here we go. Now, Louis closes the hall, locking out the Third Estate members. It's raining. He doesn't tell the Third Estate members
the plan. Good.
So they're essentially locked out of their meeting house, these National Assembly men. And what they do instead is they just like, let's meet somewhere else. We'll just have our meeting somewhere else. And one of their members, you're going to like this, a doctor named Joseph Ignace Guillotine. He knows a guy who owns a tennis court.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like the tennis rebellion or something like that.
Yeah, tennis stuff. He knows the guy who owns a tennis court. So the guy who invented the guillotine, go figure, he figures this out. So the assembly then goes to the tennis court instead, and they swear an oath. And like it's a whole thing. They're dressed up, they're copying a painting that they really like, they're cosplaying. It's great.
This is cute.
It's really cute. So they go to the tennis court and they swear an oath that they would never disassemble the assembly until a new constitution for France is written and put into place.
Guys, we're never gonna do that.
Yeah, we're not. We're gonna do that.
We're sticking. Yep.
You all look great, by the way. So
how's that invention going?
Let's play tennis until then.
So Louis's big meeting occurs 3 days after the tennis oath. He thinks it's a good look to bring the angry third estate into this meeting only after the first two estates enter the building.
Good.
And then on top of that, he doesn't even let them enter through the front door. He brings them through the side.
Good.
They also notice that their favorite Swiss banker is absent.
Uh-huh.
He's not there.
As they probably
No.
would.
All right.
They realized that Ben Stein wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
Here we go. So Louis then proceeds to tell the assembly that the three estates must be in place, but taxes will be reformed based on their representatives. The third estate says, no, we are not compromising. They refuse to leave, and then everybody else leaves, and then they start cleaning up, and they're still in the building, and then Louis doesn't really say much. He's just like, you can stay as long as you want. I don't care. And then 4 days later, Louis gives up his position, and he's like, you know what? Do whatever you want.
I don't care. Like, you do what you need to do.
Okay.
yeah, you guys just figure it out. Like,
Just figure it out. Now, I have a question for everybody. Should I stop here? Because this is right before the Bastille.
yeah. Let's start the next episode off with a bang.
Yeah.
All right. So when we get back, we'll chat about the Bastille and the revolution there. Before we go, I'm going to end it on that cliffhanger, but is there any housekeeping that we need to take care of or any business?
The Instagram will be updated today.
Excellent.
Cool.
I do have that on my list of to-dos after I finish my schoolwork.
So will the website. That'll be updated on Monday.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I do want to add some extra things on the Instagram so that you guys can see some other cool stuff other than what we talk about.
Sweet.
That's what I've got.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I don't really have too much. I finally got our Patreon account established. Now we just got to go through the arduous work of copying and pasting the link onto our website.
Sick.
But the Patreon account basically gives you guys an opportunity to help out your favorite podcast. We're not going to be concealing episodes and all that kind of stuff. This is just strictly donation. If you like what you're hearing, cool. Help us out a little bit and or give us more ideas.
And if you don't, then you should.
Yeah, if you don't, then let's help us make it better. So
tell us.
Yeah, tell us what we need to do,
but nicely
and give us money.
Gently but firm.
If you do want to get a hold of us, you can reach us at our Instagram at the Days Dumpster Fire, or you can find our website at thedaysdumpsterfire.com. There's also a little page in there where you can submit trash can fires if you really want to give us one and you want us to share your trash can fire, which would be fun. If you have any ideas, you can also send it to us at thedaysdumpsterfire@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And
all right.
That's it.
That's all we got for now.
Until next time.
When we get back, we're going to storm the Bastille, baby. Let's go!
We got this. That was fun. I can't wait. I can't wait to fill in some of the little things with Antoine.
Yeah.
Antoinette.
Antoinette.
A lot of the documentaries.
Am I good to stop the recording?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, bye.